This is Volusia Today, a public information radio program brought to you by the County of Volusia.
Good morning, Volusia County. My name is Michael, and you are listening to Volusia Today, Volusia County's one and only trusted source for local news. Maggie, was that good?
That was wonderful.
I'm trying to be a little more brief on it.
A little spicy. I liked it, yeah.
That was spicy. That was the most generic one I've ever had.
Different, you know?
Spicy. I am joined by my co-host, Maggie, this morning. Maggie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. A big weekend plans?
Not really. Nothing crazy happening. Just kind of hanging out at the house. Might do some wedding shopping, but other than that.
No, shocker.
Shocker, I know.
Oh, my God. Wait. First of all, we have two special guests in the audience that we're not going to talk to yet, but there's a running theme in it with our show, and it's Maggie's wedding. Maggie's getting married.
I am.
So for 2 months, we've been trying to figure out where she's going to get married. Maggie, did you find a location?
We do have a location, which is kind of exciting.
Good for you.
Location and date. Everything's kind of set up now.
Has to be really, and your location of course is in Volusia County?
Of course. Yeah. I would not go anywhere else.
Yeah.
We're getting married in New Smyrna. So,
okay.
Yeah, we're excited.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's got to be nice to kind of put that. But I have to tell you something funny. This morning, way early this morning, my wife and I sitting in bed drinking our coffee, trying to, wake up and stuff. And I hear this, she's on her phone, and I hear this voice.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you know where this is going to go, right?
I know exactly where this is
I hear this voice, and I'm like, I recognize that. It's like a little baby chicken, beep, 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 baby chicken, right? Super fast, super high pitched. And I was like, I know that voice from somewhere. She's on her phone, on her Facebook feed, right? Mm-hmm. And she leans over and she goes, Clint, do you even watch these videos before they go out? and I was like, oh man, here I'm like, it's way too early for this, right? Like I've not even had a full cup of coffee yet. And I was like, no, maybe sometimes. I didn't know what the right answer was. And she goes, is this Maggie? And she turns her phone. and I said, yeah, that's Maggie. And she goes, oh, and I think the beating is about to come, right? Because I didn't watch the video. There's a mistake. Who knows, right? Because I get all those calls. And she turns around and she goes, oh my God, she's the cutest thing ever.
Well, thank you.
She's so funny. She's so cute. And blah, 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 blah. Maggie, she's so great. She's as great as you said. I had to hear about Maggie for the next 20 minutes.
Wow. I feel honored. Yeah. Wow. I'm a talker of conversation in y'all's house. Wow.
So I guess the good news for you is I don't watch the videos before they go out. So
well, that video, it's about turtle season. I don't know if you saw the one of me kind of coming out of the elevator.
Bouncing down the hallway?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so fun. But turtle season is coming up, and so many people interacted with that video, and they found so much good content out of it, which was really cool. But turtle season, I didn't know that we had a marked time for turtle season. It's May 1st through October 31st. And there's so many rules and things that you have to follow to make sure that you're being safe for the turtles and making sure that they have a safe exit into the world and out into the ocean. I actually went yesterday and I got to see some of the sea turtle nests, and there's some already cool, right? On the beach. Yeah, it's really cool. I've never gotten to see the sea turtles in action because I'm not from around here originally, and so to actually see the sea turtles nest was awesome to be able to see in person. But yeah, make sure that you're being safe out there on the beach. Keep your lights down and don't build the sandcastles. Fill in your holes so that the sea turtles have a safe way to go. But it is awesome.
I had some friends in town from Texas a long time ago, and we went paddleboarding during the day, and we saw a turtle. We saw a manatee, if I remember right. And
love manatee.
Like the little turtle pops his head up and goes back down. Well, we go to the beach later that night, and we get to see a crawl. I've only seen a crawl like once, and I've been here 13, 14 years or something like that. I've seen it once, right? And it was amazing. And they were here for like 2 days, and like, oh my God, it's like they thought it was like Disney where I queued up all the animals, and the manatee showed up and the sea turtle showed up.
Yeah.
It really is like awe-inspiring to watch them walk back into the ocean.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it. I've never seen them walk. I've only ever seen the videos, so I'm excited to see it this year.
Well, so speaking of the season, it is sea turtle season. That began May 1, is that right?
Yeah, May 1.
It's also a different kind of season, which is probably actually, first of all, great segue. I didn't even feel that coming. Another good segue is it's also a different season, Maggie, and it's a good opportunity for us to introduce our guest today. May 1, June 1. Is it June 1, Clint?
June 1.
June 1. So May 1 is turtles. June 1 is hurricanes. They always come up at the same time. And so we are very honored today to have two special guests with us to talk about hurricane season. We have Clint Mecham. Did I get there? Mecham? God, I knew I was going to do that. Let's see what I can do to Aubrie Austin.
Clear as day.
Close enough.
Wow.
With Volusia County Emergency Management with us today. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thanks for having us.
We appreciate you guys being here early on a Friday. So you guys just kind of sit around for about 9 months of the year, right? And don't do much of anything?
Oh, gee, if that was only the case.
Is that the case?
Unfortunately, Mike, when we're not getting ready for hurricane season, there's actually a lot of other things that emergency management does year-round. There are 17 different categories of disaster that we have to be ready for
I didn't
in
know
the
that.
emergency management realm. And so when we're not getting ready for hurricane season or dealing with hurricane season, we have to deal with all of the others, whether they be other kinds of severe weather, whether they be man-made events, terroristic events, fires, for example. So we're always living in that what-if world. So while hurricanes are our primary threat here in Volusia County, and we spend a lot of time and take those very seriously, we spend a lot of time in those other what-if worlds as well. We just recently completed an exercise with FEMA being here for a week in Volusia County, and we simulated a building collapse out in Daytona Beach Shores, for example. So we're always thinking about those what-if potentials and possibilities, just in case they happen here in Volusia County.
Clint, I know there's another simulation this week with, I think it was with FDOT. Were you guys involved in that,
Yep,
I assume?
we were. There was, in anticipation of the new Sunrail line opening in DeLand, one of the check boxes that we have to do is to do a first responder exercise with Sunrail, and so we did that exercise earlier this week. We had the Volusia County Sheriff was there, Volusia County Fire and Rescue, DeLand Fire, lots of partners, FDOT, and so we simulated a IED on board a train, and the first responders did their thing, and in emergency management, we're always in support, so we're always there to make sure that our first responders and our other partners have everything they need to deal with whatever's in front of them.
Yeah, I tell you, let's dig into hurricane season a little bit later, maybe after the break. But let's talk a little bit more about your 17 different categories of disaster.
I was just going to ask that.
So in Florida, we do think about hurricanes a lot, obviously, sure. and some of us, there's an expo coming up I want to talk about too. But so, some of us get very, very prepared and buy all have our kit and have our evacuation plan and all that stuff, and some of us just buy a whole bunch of rum and lock the doors, right?
Ooh.
So that's true. It's true. So hurricanes, some of us are very cautious, and some of us are just, it's old hat for us, right?
Sure.
But we don't think a lot about all of those other disasters. We talk a lot about the wildfires.
Of course.
From a couple years ago, but like you said, when we did the building simulation, the building collapse simulation, I've done a million of those, the simulations and stuff. That building collapse threw me for a loop several times on, this is new to me, and what would I do here and what would I do there? We as a team, we as an EOC and stuff. So it is important to go through those other disasters.
It absolutely is, and we want to do that and get that experience and build that muscle memory under blue skies, as we call it, rather than waiting for an event to happen and then have to make it up as we go. So again, myself, my staff, and I do have an excellent staff in Volusia County Emergency Management working for our citizens and our visitors here. We spend pretty much every day that we're at work thinking about that what-if scenario, and regardless of what it is. So again, if it's flooding, if it's severe weather, if it's tornadoes, if it's a fire, if it's a terroristic event, whatever it might be, those are the things that we're always thinking about, and we're always trying to include our partners so we can have those aha moments like you had during the building collapse exercise, again, in a controlled learning environment rather than, oh, gee, we're doing it for real.
Right. That's never a great time to learn.
Never a great time to learn something new.
And I've been there. We always do.
Of course we do.
I've been there and I've learned. I really probably cut my teeth on Hurricane Matthew. I did hurricanes prior to that, and tornadoes and wildfires and all that stuff. But Matthew was probably the big first one for me. Yep. And so it was definitely a learning experience.
Yep. And fortunately, some of the things that are out there as categories we don't have to worry about too much. One of the ones that coming from my former home in Utah, we had to worry about earthquakes a lot. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about earthquakes in Florida. So winter storms is another one that I hope we don't have to deal with. But severe weather, that's one that we do have to.
So those 17 categories, is that for all different emergency management systems, and then we only have a certain that we focus on here in Volusia County?
That's correct.
What are the ones that we focus on in Volusia County?
So the ones that we primarily focus on, of course, are hurricane, any kind of severe weather, flooding, wildfire, and then the man-made stuff. So whether it be a hazardous materials incident, whether it be a terroristic event, whether it be a cyber event, those are the ones that we spend most of our time on. And then we spend a little less time, but we take into consideration things like tsunami. And
oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Exactly. A month and a half ago, we had a small earthquake off the coast of
that's
Canada,
right.
for example. So those are always things that we have to be thinking about and going, what if, right?
That's a little terrifying. But in the best way, because you guys are prepared for all of it.
That's what we're here for.
I tell you what, let's take a break and we come back. I want to dig into, like you mentioned your background a little bit, and let's talk to Aubrie about hers too, and then we'll talk about hurricane season.
Cool.
Subscribe to the Volusia County YouTube channel.
And hit the bell icon to know what's happening in your hometown.
There are so many great places to explore.
And things to learn.
With over 1,000 videos available right now, the channel offers something for everyone.
Let's go!
Did you know we have countless features showcasing history, nature, wildlife, and recreation? Subscribe and hit the bell icon.
Or that we live stream important county meetings and workshops where leaders make decisions that can impact our everyday lives. Did you subscribe yet?
Or that we record our weekly radio show, Volusia Today, where we interview staff from the different divisions and departments across our great county, and they discuss the nitty-gritty of their field and expertise.
Go ahead, subscribe.
But that's not it. There's more. Subscribe and hit the bell icon and fully explore.
Score!
Good morning, Volusia County. My name is Michael, and you are listening to Volusia Today. I am joined this morning by my co-host, Maggie. Maggie, thank you for being here.
Of course, anytime.
I'm not sure you had a choice, but thank you for being here anyway. We have a couple of special guests today. It's Clint Mecham. I got it right that time?
Yes, sir.
And Aubrie Austin with us from Volusia County Emergency Management, and we are talking hurricane season. And actually, we're talking about Clint right now. Clint, you touched base on your background. Give me you if I remember right, you got here in September.
August of last year.
August. Okay.
Correct.
So where'd you come from? What'd you do?
So before I got here to my new home in Volusia County, I was in Utah, the Salt Lake City area. I spent 28 years as a career in the fire service out there, Unified Fire Authority. The last 10 years of that, I was the division chief over the Salt Lake County Emergency Management division. So
Okay.
I bring that experience here to Volusia County, and again, there's a lot new to learn here in Volusia County, but again, hopefully I can pick up what I've learned over the years and apply it here to my new home.
Sure. I guess we were talking a little bit about before we went off the air too, or for the break, that I would guess that your experience, a lot of it applies to almost any disaster, right? Any emergency, but then each one is different too.
It is.
And so I would assume you're able to bring a foundational base of knowledge from Utah, because you dealt with stuff that you talked about, earthquakes and stuff. That there's a good bit of that actually does translate and does transfer over to Florida.
Well, and you hit the nail right on the head, Michael. Each incident is unique. But there are some basic processes and some basic thought processes and preparations that we can do that are universal across whatever disaster we might have to deal with. And so, and I've also been with FEMA's Urban Search and Rescue Program since 2000. So I've had experience, spent some time at Ground Zero, Hurricanes Katrina, Rita, Ernesto, Dean, Harvey, Barry. I spent all of October of 2022 with FEMA down in Lee County, dealing with Ian over there in Fort Myers. So
Yeah.
I've been on the response side of hurricanes as well. But again, there's that basic process and those basic thought processes that we use that are kind of universal. But you do have to be flexible because each one is different.
I've with mutual aid, I have served in a couple different jurisdictions, and it's interesting to go see how somebody else does it.
Oh yeah.
And because kind of like we talked, there is, you've got a book, you've got a manual, you've got some rules and regulations and all that stuff, but everywhere is different. You involve elected officials who have a great deal of authority in that specific jurisdiction, but they may treat things differently.
Absolutely.
Different leaders and all that stuff. So that's a good experience. Aubrie, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
Refresh my memory. I know we've had you on the air before, but since we talked about Clint's background, tell me, how did you get here?
Well, I've lived in Volusia County my entire life, so I feel what feels like forever to me. I've lived in DeLand. I've been through all these storms that you've talked about already.
Yep.
So I've seen a lot of different things happen. I was here during the '98 wildfires. I was here during all the storms of the last 40-odd years. So it's definitely interesting to hear his side of Clint's side of things versus our side of things. I haven't always been in emergency management. Obviously, I've been there 9.5 years. Prior to that, I was an intern in Osceola County for a year and a half. So I've seen some things come and go. I've seen some even local agencies do things differently depending on what storm's going on. So I think a lot of times he calls us a great team all the time, just because I've got that historical knowledge that's been going through our community for forever for me,
Right.
and what's new for him.
That probably is a great combination to have that history
Yeah.
and that knowledge, and to be able to speak the language here. But then Clint brings in a whole different set of skills and viewpoints and stuff.
Absolutely.
That's probably a great combination. I tell you what, let's take our second break, and we'll come back and let's talk about actual hurricane season.
Cool.
Today on Marine Science Minute with Florida Sea Grant. Hurricane awareness. This month marks the beginning of hurricane season, which lasts from June 1st to November 30th. All areas of Florida are at risk of hurricane impacts, including flooding and wind damage. Florida Sea Grant has tools and resources to help you prepare for the next hurricane. You can prepare for this year's season by following these tips. Develop an evacuation plan and know your evacuation zone. Assemble emergency supplies such as flashlights, water, and an emergency radio. Create a communication plan for your family, including an emergency meeting place in case of loss of cell phone network. Document your possessions through a home inventory. For information about this and other coastal topics, contact your county extension office or visit Florida Sea Grant at flseagrant.org.
Welcome back. This is Volusia Today, and we are joined today by Emergency Management. We have Clint and Aubrie here, and we are so excited to have them. It's been so interesting listening to you guys talk about the different things you guys deal with in your division. But one of the main things you guys deal with is hurricanes, and hurricane season is coming up really quickly. And in Volusia County, we have a lot of people who this is their first time going through a hurricane, and that can be terrifying. You know, I grew up in Florida. I grew up in South Florida, which is a little bit different, but it's still, I mean, even being a Floridian, you still are learning so much about the different ways to prepare. But you guys have so many different educational opportunities coming up for hurricane season. And one of the big ones is this weekend. You guys have the Hurricane Expo. What can we expect to see there?
Yeah, so when we were talking earlier and Michael was asking if you had plans this weekend, I can make plans.
Skip the wedding. We're going to the Hurricane Expo.
You got that, exactly. No, we have our annual Hurricane Preparedness Expo that is co-sponsored by our COAD, which is our Community Organizations Active in Disasters. It is at the Volusia County Fairgrounds from 10 to 2 tomorrow. It's free to the public. We've got a lot of vendors coming in, over 50 vendors, to talk about whether it be preparedness or insurance or any of the other myriad of things that people can take care of or lean into in order to be prepared for hurricane season. So we're really looking forward to that, and we're really excited about it.
That's Clint, don't forget the free food.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's the most important part.
Free food. Oh, my goodness, yes. No, there will be free food. As a matter of fact, Aubrie wrangled some of her family members into helping cook for us this weekend. So this is truly a family affair. So by all means, we're going to have raffle prizes as well. And there's going to be a number of guest speakers there. I'll be speaking. There'll be members from the insurance community there speaking. And again, just to provide as much information as we can to our citizens so they can be just as prepared as possible. Because like you said, hurricanes are our primary threat, right? And just because whether you're new to Volusia County or whether you've been here for a long time, each one is different. Mm-hmm. And so we just need to make sure that we've got as many tools in the toolbox as we can for everybody so we get through it together.
Clint, tell me the dates. It starts today or tomorrow?
It's tomorrow.
For some reason, I was thinking it was today.
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. And what are the times?
It's from 10 to 2.
Okay. And where is it?
At the Volusia County Fairgrounds.
Okay. And help me understand, Maggie, and I think you just touched on this for a second, but Maggie, born and raised in Florida, I've been here a long time. Mm-hmm. I've been through a bunch of hurricanes, so she, whatever. Why do we need to go to your Hurricane Expo?
So, again, each one of these hurricanes, as they affect Volusia County, is a little bit different. Fun fact, or maybe not so fun, Volusia County has never been hit by anything stronger than a Category 1 hurricane.
Oh, don't say that. Knock on wood.
Exactly. So, Ian, for example, when Ian hit Volusia County, Ian was not actually a hurricane when it got here. It was actually a tropical storm. And it wasn't so much a wind event as it was a rain event. Mm-hmm. Versus Nicole, when she came and then kind of double punched Volusia County, that was more of a wind event and a storm surge event than it was a rain event. So each one of these storms is a little different and presents its own little unique twist, if you will. Mm-hmm. So again, there's common processes and common procedures that we follow, but we have to be flexible in being able to deal with the uniqueness of each storm. And that goes for our citizens and our visitors to Volusia County as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I know for me, like we're homeowners for the first time. And so this is a really great opportunity for us to learn how to prepare our home and make sure that we're ready to go. Clint, you're from Utah. So what was the most shocking thing coming here, going into hurricane season for the first time?
So the most shocking thing for me is you get advanced warning that something's coming. Okay?
You know it's coming.
That's the big one for me. Most of the things that I dealt with in Utah were no-notice events. Earthquakes, for example, you don't get a lot of advanced warning those are coming. But
I worked a lot of tornadoes.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, the EOC opens after the tornado's gone.
Exactly. And so here we've got a little bit of time to prepare. We know it's coming pretty much every year, so we need to get ready for it. Earthquakes, for example, back in Utah, it's like a 500-year event. So maybe you're going to get one this year, maybe not. But here in Florida, we can always pretty much be guaranteed that we're going to be affected by a storm somehow, some way. So, and you mentioned you're a new homeowner. One of the things that we want to emphasize and that we're going to be talking about in the expo, as well as the town halls that we have coming up, is insurance. Most people, they've got renter's insurance, they've got homeowner's insurance, whatever that might look like. But most people don't realize that homeowner's insurance or renter's insurance doesn't cover flooding. And most of the damages that are incurred from hurricanes have to do with flooding. And so you need that extra flood insurance to make sure that you're well and truly covered and can recover quickly. And that's not something that you can call the insurance company, as the storm's coming ashore and say, hey, I need flood insurance. You need to plan that out in advance because it takes some time for those policies normally to take effect. So again, that's some of the information that we're trying to push out to the public so they can all be prepared and be ready.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, lucky for us, my fiance handles all the insurance. We do have flood insurance. He was ready. He was ready to go with that. But you mentioned the town halls y'all are having too. If they can't go this weekend, you guys have a lot of opportunities for town halls. We
are doing our level best to get out to as many members of the community and all areas of the county as we can. We have we've scheduled 6 town halls. We've conducted 2 of them. We get about 25 or so people at the first 2. We've got one coming up at the Ormond Beach Regional Library on Thursday, May 9th, and that's from 5:30 until 6:45. Deltona Regional Library is on Wednesday, May 22nd, again from 5:30 to 6:45. The New Smyrna Beach Regional Library on Wednesday, May 29th, and then the last one will be at the Port Orange Regional Library on Wednesday, June 12th. So again, we are doing our level best to get to all corners of the county and talk about preparedness, whether you live in a coastal community or whether you live inland.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what's the benefit of going to the town hall over the Hurricane Expo or vice versa?
So the town halls are a little bit more intimate as far as the numbers of people, so we can address, we can get into a little bit more of the specific questions that people have specific to their communities. We've been in DeLand already, and then we've been in Daytona Beach, and so we can talk about the specific needs for the community. However, the expo is going to have more things and go on for a longer period of time so people can dive into the specific topics they want to a little bit more specifically rather than community. So we're trying to get a good mix of both.
That's awesome.
Nice. I tell you what, Maggie, let's take our last break and we're going to come back and talk about hurricane season itself.
We are Volusia County Beach Safety. We're here to serve Volusia County's 47 miles of unique coastline. You know, Volusia County beaches. Yeah, those beaches. But also these beaches. We have millions of visitors every year, and we work around the clock to keep our beaches safe and beautiful. And you can help.
Swim near a staff lifeguard tower.
Pick up your trash. And fill holes. Identify, avoid, and escape rip currents.
Please leave the beach cleaner than you found it.
There we go. Look out for one another and keep an eye on kids, especially near the traffic lane and in the water.
Pets are allowed at our 2 pet-friendly beaches, Lighthouse Point Park and Smyrna Dunes Park.
If you see something, say something.
A clean and safe beach guarantees fun in the sun for everyone. Thank you for doing your part to keep Volusia County beaches beautiful. See you at the beach!
Make the most of your day at the beach. Download the Volusia County Beaches app today. Sign up for real-time notifications on vehicle ramp openings and closings. Find staffed lifeguard towers. Get updates on tides and beach conditions, plus off-beach parking and coastal parks info. Volusia County Beaches app is available for your smart devices at the App Store and Google Play.
Welcome back to Volusia Today. My name is Michael, and you are listening to Clint Mecham. and Aubrie Austin today talk about hurricane season, Hurricane Expo, and the town halls. So we've talked a little bit about those two. Let's talk about hurricane season. Officially starts on June 1st.
June 1st.
Goes through November. Is that right?
Technically,
roughly
November 1st. So.
Seems like it's always November 1st, and then there's something hanging out there about November 15th.
There's always the oddballs.
It's always out there, yeah.
Absolutely.
So what are the predictions? What does the season look like?
So we're still waiting for the National Weather Service to come out with their predictions from the National Hurricane Center, but Colorado State University has put out their predictions, and they have a very, very good and very, very storied program at Colorado State. They're telling us that we're looking at potentially 23 named storms this season. 11 of those will turn into hurricanes. Of those 11, 7 will be over Category 3. So it is about a third busier than what's considered a normal season.
Okay. Any reason why it's going to be busier?
So we're transitioning from an El Nino to a La Nina pattern. So there's wind shear, there's atmospheric conditions that that come into account here. But one of the other things too that we're really concerned about is the water temperature. Water temperatures right now on both the Gulf Coast and on the Atlantic side are at July levels already. So
look at Clint from Utah talking about water temperatures and El Ninos.
He's ready.
Like I said, I got a good team behind me pushing me and making me learn. So yeah, exactly.
El Ninos and water temperatures.
Exactly.
I lived in Florida my whole life, and I don't even know that.
I don't know what the water. I know if it's not 90, I'm not getting in it.
Yeah.
So all of those environmental factors play into more frequent storms, stronger storms, possibly.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Well, so what do I, as an average homeowner, need to do?
Again, make sure you've got your Go Kit ready to go, and make sure that you include pets in your Go Kit. Make sure you've got important documentation in your Go Kit, things like birth certificates, Social Security cards. Medications are always something that people seem to forget. Immunization records for your pets, that's something else. So again, if we do have to issue an evacuation order, and believe me, we don't do that lightly, but if we do issue it, you can grab that kit, you can go, and you've got everything necessary to, again, once it's time to come back and recover from the storm, you have the proper documentation and the proper stuff to help you on that road to recovery.
Clint, if I'm making the decision to ride it out, we've got about 40 seconds. I'm going to ride it out of my home. What do I need to do? So if we're issuing an evacuation order, we don't recommend that. But again, a gallon of water per person per day. Understand that you may not have access to 911 and emergency services if you're going to ride it out for a period of time. Again, you just need to be self-reliant and ready for those potential consequences should you decide to ride it out. I tell you what, we are running out of time, but can we bring you guys back? And Aubrie, I'm sorry, we didn't hear you talk very much today. Can we bring you guys back maybe mid-season, or I don't know? Certainly, if there's a hurricane coming, we'll come back and talk about that.
Of course.
But we'd like to. I feel like we didn't have enough time to dig into it today as much as we wanted to.
No, happy to do it whenever.
All right, you guys have a great weekend, Maggie. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Go enjoy the beach. Go enjoy the weather. Be safe.
Go to the expo.
Go to the expo.